On this day, April 18, in the year 1930, a group of scientists at Bell Labs in New York City made a discovery that would change the world forever. They had been working on a new type of device called a transistor, which was designed to replace the bulky and unreliable vacuum tubes that were then used in electronics. The team, led by William Shockley and including John Bardeen and Walter Brattain, had been experimenting with a material called germanium, which they believed could be used to create a better transistor. After weeks of trial and error, they finally hit upon the right combination of materials and techniques, and on this day they successfully demonstrated the first working transistor. The significance of this discovery cannot be overstated. Vacuum tubes were large, fragile, and required a great deal of power to operate. Transistors, on the other hand, were tiny and could be mass-produced, making them much cheaper and more reliable. They also consumed much less power, which meant that electronic devices could be made smaller and run for longer on batteries. Although the first transistor was a simple device, it paved the way for a revolution in electronics. Within a few years, transistors had replaced vacuum tubes in almost every application, from radios and televisions to computers and telecommunications equipment. Today, billions of transistors are manufactured every year, powering everything from smartphones to supercomputers. But while the invention of the transistor was undoubtedly an important event, there have been many other notable events that have occurred on this day throughout history. For example, on April 18, 1775, Paul Revere rode through the streets of Boston to warn his fellow colonists that British troops were on their way to arrest Samuel Adams and John Hancock. This act of bravery helped to spark the American Revolution. In a more lighthearted event, on April 18, 1930, the BBC reported on a miracle in Switzerland, where a cow had apparently survived for 3 days without water or food. The story was later revealed to be a hoax, but it captured the public's imagination at the time. Another important event that occurred on this day was the signing of the Warsaw Pact in 1955. This treaty, signed by the Soviet Union and its Eastern European allies, was seen as a response to the formation of NATO by Western powers. The Warsaw Pact would remain in effect until the fall of the Soviet Union in 1991. In more recent years, April 18 has been marked by a number of tragic events, including the bombing of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City in 1995, which killed 168 people, and the sinking of the South Korean ferry Sewol in 2014, which claimed the lives of 304 passengers and crew members. Despite these dark moments, however, April 18 remains a day of significance and importance in world history. From the invention of the transistor to the bravery of Paul Revere, there have been many events that have shaped our world and continue to influence it today.